lot going on in the news at that point, both in the state and nationally. Minnesota was being highlighted for some very negative things at that point. Hopefully we've come through session, addressed a lot of the needs that are out there in a way that shows Minnesotans that we can work in getting solutions for this state. In particular, I'm proud that the Minnesota Senate Republicans were able to address a couple of the things that Minnesotans have been talking about day in and day out. Number one, the cost of living, the affordability issue in this state. And number two, fraud. We've been seeing so much from our communities and from our institutions about the costs that Minnesotans are facing every single day. In particular, the tab fee issue. Minnesota Senate Republicans worked very, very hard at the all through session on affordability issues, but we were able to finally get the tab fees reduced by $254 million. That's $254 million that's going to be staying in Minnesotans' pockets when they come to renew their tab fees. The other thing that we were able to do was work on a package for anti-fraud legislation. Things like making sure that fraudsters don't benefit from the fraud that they're committing once they get caught. Making sure that we're tightening up the process of paying the service providers and those payments that are going out in a way that ensures that we're able to catch those people that are abusing our system and abusing Minnesotans and their tax-paying dollars. We are so excited to be investing in Minnesota infrastructure, roads and bridges, and the communities, the drinking water, the wastewater, the things that Minnesotans need. This was, in part, a successful year, but there's so much more that we can be doing. Minnesota Senate Republicans used what little leverage that we had in the minority to achieve big things for this state. We're very proud of that, and we're going to be moving forward into this November in demonstrating to Minnesotans that we put them first every single day. And that's what you see from this session from Minnesota Senate Republicans. There are a lot of things that happened throughout the session that we're going to be digesting over the next few days and weeks. But at this point, we hit sine die, and we are going to be moving on into the summer as we look over the work that we've done and also tell Minnesotans about the good things Minnesota Senate Republicans did. With that, able to take questions.
What do you think when you go into the elections in the midterms, what will you be taking to voters?
Look, the big thing is what we demonstrated was we focus on Minnesotans. With the tab fee of reduction, what did we do? We put in a one-year reduction in that because Democrats fought us tooth and nail in reducing that permanently. And so Democrats have said in front of this microphone that when they get back, they're going to make sure that that goes back up again. We're going to make sure that the Minnesotans keep as much money in their pocket as they possibly can. Things like that we're going to make sure that Minnesotans know that we are focused. Minnesota Senate Republicans are focused on them, not growing Minnesota government. And that's going to be a big point that we have. The other thing that we're going to be pushing a lot is just the fraud issues that are happening in the state and how Republicans are working so hard to stop fraud and make sure that Minnesotans aren't paying extra taxes just so fraudsters can come here and take their money off to, I think Joe Thompson said it was a fraud tourism issue that we had here. We got to make sure that Minnesota institutions and agencies are using those dollars in ways that Minnesota agrees with. So those are the things that we're going to be going to the door with, and I'm pretty excited to be out there telling that story.
Did the property tax measure get passed?
That was in the tax bill. Yep.
Is there anything you're not happy with? It seems like you're celebrating a lot here.
I mean, the problem is that look, right now, if we were in the majority, things would look so much different. We'd be focusing so much more on the needs of Minnesotans, and we just didn't see that. Whether it was the health bill or the human services bill, the tax bill, there was so much left on the table that, look, House Republicans did a great job in making sure that it didn't get out of control like in 23 and 24, but they only have so much leverage. And when you have a governor that's a Democrat that's working against you, when you have House Democrats and Senate Democrats working against you that are more focused on making sure that the government is well funded, that their agencies are well funded, that they have people, lots and lots of people working for them. it takes away from our ability to focus on Minnesotans. And so that's where I'm disappointed in the session. There's so much opportunity out there, and I think that in a lot of ways we just, the Democrats in both the House, Senate, and the governor's office really missed the boat on this year.
You voted against a bill to bail out Hennepin County Medical Center as obviously part of a much larger health package, but could you just explain your no vote on that?
Well, it was larger than that, but that's one that really worries me too. When you have Hennepin County Medical Center as the centerpiece of that one, but we have so many other hospitals out, critical access hospitals, that are outstate, that this does help support them a little bit. But in talking to the Hospital Association and some hospitals out there, they're very disappointed and feel that it's just really a small amount for our local hospitals in the outstate that are gonna receive that aid. And they're in a desperate situation as well too. So I wish that fund would have been more expansive and we've been able to do a lot more for hospitals across the state, not just one right downtown Minneapolis.
What about your members' concern, or a number of members' concerns about the fact that things got pushed through so much at the last minute? I know that's the way it always happens, but that they weren't able to read the bills. I mean, that's a legitimate complaint.
They are legitimate complaints. And so when you get the last 10, 15 minutes of session and you have two new bills fall on your desk, it's difficult to read through them. There's a lot of frustrations. I don't know about what was in the bill, what's not in the bill. They could have been very, very good bills at that time. But as you know, when you get to the end of session, there's always little loose ends that are poking out. But I think our members were right to point out that look, they just didn't have time to digest those bills. And I think you saw them voice their frustrations at that point.
Mr. Leader, was enough done in terms of addressing the fraud problem, or do you folks frankly still have ammunition to go to the election with against Democrats?
Well, look, I mean, we passed the OIG bill. That was a very bipartisan bill. Republicans and Democrats in both the House and the Senate got that bill across. We had a lot of measures that, quite frankly, that we pushed during the bonding negotiations to tighten things up going forward. One of the problems that we have in this state is a governor and agencies that aren't aggressive in going after the fraud. And we saw that throughout the last few years where you have whistleblowers that were out there saying, we got to do more, there's fraud going on, and you didn't see the administration going after that in a way that I think most of us would anticipate any normal administration going after. So although we have these laws, these bills in place, will the administration, will the agencies be using their full power in going after them? I sure hope so, but we just haven't seen that yet from them.
Senator Murphy the other day suggested she'd like to see a little bit more transparency in the compromise and negotiation process. Broadly, looking back at this legislative session, the one before this, these past 4 years, is that something that you would also be in favor of?
Yeah, so I think Senator Murphy is right on that. We haven't seen a lot of compromise over the years here, especially in 23, 24. This year, I will say it's been a pleasure working with Senator Murphy on the things that we can work on. Of course, we have our disagreements, but we have been able to work through things. Towards the end here, a lot of things went back behind closed doors. You saw, some of these bills popping out without much discussion again. And I know Senator Murphy is frustrated with that. Our caucus is very frustrated with that as well too. And so hopefully that's something that next year, when Senate Republicans are in the majority, we're able to push back and see more of that out in the open. Thanks.
So if you and Senator Murphy are against this process, then why is it happening?
Well, I think you see the governor's office pulling people into the conference rooms. You see the House working somewhat in that manner. And quite frankly, when chairs aren't able to work together, sometimes it ends up getting kicked up to leadership. And at that point, doors get closed and people are cut out of the process. So we've got to instill just a cooperative sort of relationship in this institution. Hopefully that's a change that will be seen.
Did you think about what the theme song of this session should be?
You keep doing that, and I got to think of one. Why can't we be friends or something like that, maybe? All right. Anything else? Perfect.
Slow ride by Foghat.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Get some rest.